Hey, what's up everyone, it's KAGE. Welcome to today's video where I will be giving you my thoughts on the Invincible Compendium One by Robert Kirkman. The compendium collects issues 0 through 47 of Invincible. These are the comics that the new Amazon show Invincible is based on. I watched the series first, then decided to read the comics. Please note that everything in the video is in my opinion, and this video will contain spoilers for the Invincible Compendium Volume 1 and upcoming seasons of the Invincible animated series.
Perfect.
Invincible follows Mark Grayson as he becomes a superhero. He continues to develop his powers and fight a variety of villains and teams up with other superheroes throughout the story. He also has to try to balance his home life and college life with the superhero life. The main character is Mark Grayson, who is invincible. He is aided by Adam Eve, Alan the Alien, Guardians of the Globe, and many others throughout the whole story. There isn't a central villain, however the main villain group is the Viltrumite Empire. I think Mark makes a great main character. I really like how we see him continue to grow throughout the story. He starts off as a regular teenage kid until he gets his superpowers, then he becomes a hero. He gets his powers from his father, Nolan Grayson, or Omni-Man, who is a Viltrumite. Mark's powers include flight, super strength, and super speed. I really liked how we see him grow as more of a hero with each new obstacle thrown at him. Since his dad left, Mark filled in his spot as a protector of Earth, and eventually he has several missions that send him into space and other planets. After he gets beat up by Viltrumites, he realizes that he needs to get stronger, so now Mark is continuously working out to increase his strength and speed. I also really like Adam Eve. I like that her powers are very different and unique, and I like that she uses them in unique ways, like building her own house and making coffee from fallen leaves. My favorite character, other than Invincible, is Alan the Alien. I like his story and his comedy. I got really sad when I thought he actually died, but then when we saw him again and learned that he had got a huge power up, I was really excited. And I'm pretty sure we're going to continue to see him in action even more in the second compendium. I really like that the Viltrum Empire is the main threat in the story. I like it because they're all strong and it adds conflict with Mark being a Viltrumite himself and his dad Nolan becoming a rogue Viltrumite, which is very rare. I just wish that they would focus more on a single Viltrumite as like the rival for Mark because he has encountered several different ones. So if they slim it down to focus on one of them or a few of them, then I think it would be a lot better. Like the one that Nolan and Mark fought, and that we could see is also a commander when he fights Nolan again in prison. Nolan is another big character in Invincible. His story is very complicated. He fought Mark and was set on taking over Earth, but then left before killing Mark. Then later in the story, he invites Mark to help him defend the new planet he was on against the Viltrumite attack, and we learn that he now has another son. Then we see him fighting in prison before his execution. But I really like that his story is complicated and that he went rogue because of this very rare thing that Viltrumites do. A new character that I was excited about was Oliver, who is Omni-Man's son. I like that he is now living with Debbie on Earth and that him and Mark have a good relationship. Like in the last issue when Oliver decides to help Mark fight villains, suggested that they become partners. I think that would be really cool to see, and I really hope they continue to go in that direction. There is also a large array of villains in Invincible other than the Viltrumites. There's a Lizard League, Mauler Twins, Angstrom Levi, Titan, and many others. Most of the villains appear for a few volumes and get defeated, and some of them don't really serve huge purposes, but sometimes they still have a few moments of glory that really add a lot of conflict in the story. Like whenever Angstrom fought Mark, and he actually threatened his family for the first time, Mark went crazy and killed him, which, I mean, I don't blame him, but Mark didn't really know his strength. So after he killed him, he was very like conflicted about what just happened. That he was really shocked that he actually killed him, and he kept saying, "I thought he was stronger." So it has a lot of conflict. As Mark grows stronger, some of these villains don't stand a huge threat to him, but they do stand a lot threat to other heroes in the story, like the Guardians of the Globe. And so we get to see some really great fights from the Guardians of the Globe. That's just them and the villains, and Mark's not in it, so it gives us a good variety of fights in the story. I think the world building is great and Invincible. It has several different locations in different parts of the world. It shows Mark now living in a college dorm, Adam and Eve living in Africa. It shows a lot of the Pentagon, and it even shows other planets. It shows a planet where Omni-Man moved to and started a new family. It shows Mars when the Martians and Sequids live, and it shows Alan and at the coalition of planets. The story has so many different locations on Earth and in outer space, and I really enjoy that. I think this shows that the Viltrumites aren't just a threat to Earth, and that Mark will also go to other planets to protect them. Invincible is littered with fights. There are many different fights with many different people throughout the story. I really love the fights in here. They're brutal and gory. It was hard for me to pin down my favorite fight. One of my favorites is when Mark fought Angstrom Levi. I like this fight because it took Mark through multiple dimensions, fighting multiple different people, and there was a couple of firsts in this fight. Like Angstrom was the first villain to target Mark's family, and Mark killed Angstrom, which is the first time that Mark ever killed anyone. It also had a really cool Spider-Man reference thrown in there. Another one of my favorites is when Mark and Nolan fought the three Viltrumites on Nolan's new planet. I like this fight because it showed Viltrumites at full strength going at each other, and this fight made Mark realize how weak he really was compared to other Viltrumites, and made him want to work out to get a lot stronger. There were also some fights that made me laugh, like the fight where Mark and Rex were fighting against Fight Master and Dropkick. During the fight, Mark and Rex were just having a conversation with each other, and Mark was just standing there taking shots from them, not even flinching. There were also some other great fight scenes that happened without Mark, like some fights from the Guardians of the Globe, like the fight with Duplicate, Rex, and Shrinkray versus the Lizard League was a great, brutal fight. I'm going to give the Invincible Compendium One a rating of 10. I think some of y'all may think that I'm an Invincible stan now, but I thought hard about the rating and I didn't have any negative things to say about it. I mean, I love the superhero genre, I love the characters and the fights. I just really enjoy the story, and now after reading the comics for Invincible, I determined that I like the comics more than the show. I think one thing that sets us apart from the other superhero stories is how graphic and gory this is. There have been multiple times when you see guts and blood all over the page. I'm really glad they didn't hold back in that aspect, and I also like the twists and turns that happen within the story. I like how Omni-Man is now a rogue Viltrumite and even has books on things that can hurt the Viltrumites, like weapons and creatures from other planets that can inflict serious damage to him. And now he has a son being raised by Debbie that already has his powers. And like when I thought Alan was killed by the Viltrumites, then next time we see him, he is well and got a huge power up where he is now as strong as a Viltrumite. It's also crazy to me how this much happened, and I still have two more full compendiums to read. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the Invincible Compendium 1, and I will talk to you all later.
Perfect.